All right, the story ends with a tattoo. We did a creative project for a woman who was starting a bakery, and she needed an identity, and we worked through the traditional process, which for a bakery included her bringing us all kinds of examples or samples of her work, and we loved it, all of them, every single time. And we spent a lot of time chatting about the work internally. We did our standard research and the nonlinear, linear version of the creative work. And what we came away with was an identity that we thought solved the business case, solved everything that we had heard from her through the process. And we presented it, and she loved it. Everything was great. She got so excited. And then a couple days later, she called me and she's like, something's just not right here. I don't love the yellow. Can you give me a few more ideas, different colors of yellow that might work in this? And instead of just obliging and trying random colors of yellow to add to the palette or to switch the other one out from, I wasn't willing to do that. We started asking more questions and really tried to get to the heart of the matter. And it took weeks. She was bringing more samples. We would talk often. And then finally, through one really frustrated phone call, she just kind of exclaimed, "It's just not buttery enough." And there was a massive moment of clarity. She had never used that phrase before. We hadn't ever really talked about what butter did for her stuff. She always talked about sweetness and the right level of sweet. And so to us, it was a sugary treat. It was more in that space. And what we ended up learning was that the energy that she put into not over sugaring something just for flavor and letting all these other things work for her gluten-free products and everything else she did is where her magic was. And so we went back to the drawing board with that message. Very simply, picked out a new version of yellow that represented more savory and less sweet, brought that to her. She loved it. A couple weeks later, she showed up at the office with some more treats and a tattoo of the new mark. And what that meant to us and what that proves to us over time is that instead of just doing what somebody says or believing that a bunch of samples or examples are the path forward and letting somebody pick, instead, let's work through the process. Let's figure out how to actually solve the problem, get that right moment of clarity, get the right language in place, and then the visuals can follow. And if we do that right, we don't know. Something may be worth getting a tattoo about.